Okay, we're going to listen in to Congressman Dusty Johnson.
Not a show horse.
Tonight, you did just that. Tonight, you nominated a principled conservative who has set the record straight, a record of consistent conservative legislation that seeks to solve problems.
Tonight, you helped nominate somebody who brings his optimistic vision across South Dakota, a genuine connection with constituents in every community, and a solution-based approach is to solve the problems that South Dakotans face every day.
Tonight, you helped nominate the man behind the mint, an optimist and an outstanding advocate for South Dakota.
Please join me in welcoming our guy, our Congressman, Dusty Johnson.
Ago, two New Jersey PACs started to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars misleading the South Dakota voters. Now, three things happened after that. The first is that my adorable sons, Max, Ben, and Owen, decided they needed to do a TV ad setting the record straight. And that ad was pretty effective. I think they did a good job, don't you? Yeah! Now, if I have one complaint, it's that they were a lot more willing to take the garbage out on set than they are at the house. So the second thing that happened is that everyday South Dakotans started to raise us up. They sent their money, they sent their prayers, they started to share the truth. Hundreds stopped me in church, on the street. They came up to our family and they said, you know what, we're with you. Stay with it. You're going to do fine. I cannot tell you how much that meant to Jacqueline and how much that meant to me. Thank you, South Dakota. So the third and final thing that I saw happen was that this group of maniacs on this stage kicked it into high gear. This is the very best ground game in South Dakota, and it has been for a long time, but these guys reached new levels in the last 3 weeks. Ladies and gentlemen, they made phone calls, they sent texts, they waved signs, they went out and they knocked doors. Do you know that in the last 3 weeks, they have called 60,000 South Dakotans? And so, I just want to say this to the guys at the New Jersey PACs. You're pretty good at the air war, but you will never match the execution of this South Dakota ground game. Okay, I'll sum up because after you win an election, I think you always want to ask, well, what's next? Let's be honest, this country faces serious problems. Inflation is a mess. The southern border is a mess. Our energy policy is a mess. But ladies and gentlemen, despite those messes, this is still the greatest country in the history of the world, and these problems are solvable. There is a red wave that will be sweeping this country in November. I am more excited than you can possibly understand to be part of the conservative leadership that is going to get this country back on the right path. And I tell you this, in my opinion and my experience, the ingredients that go into good policy are the same as the ingredients that go into a good political win. And that's good news because that means that it will not be deception and New Jersey attacks that carry the day. It'll be truth and South Dakota hard work. Let's get after it.
You've been listening to Congressman Dusty Johnson giving his acceptance speech tonight.
Now, in addition to these candidates, South Dakota voters also decided the fate of Amendment C. This measure would have amended the state constitution to increase the percentage of votes needed to raise taxes from a simple majority to 60%.
But as you can see on your screen there, a majority of South Dakota voters have voted no on Amendment C. Cumberland's Lauren Solik joins us now to talk about the race.
Amendment C was sponsored by Republican lawmakers John Hanson from Del Rapids and Lee Schoenbeck from Watertown. They believed the measure would make tax increases harder. Multiple organizations were against Amendment C, including the group South Dakotans for Fair Elections and the state's 3 major hospital systems. Zach Nisler with the No on C campaign calls this measure a power grab.
We're feeling confident that South Dakotans got out tonight because they realized that the sacred tradition of majority rule was on the ballot. And there were folks that were trying to play some political partisan games by placing this on the primary ballot to maybe pull a quick one on South Dakotans.
And this was the only thing on today's ballot that everyone could vote on, no matter their party registration.
All right. Thanks a lot, Lauren. Well, South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem will be back on the November ballot as the Republican candidate for governor.
Here's a look at the latest results. As you can see, Governor Noem has about 76% of the vote. She had a strong lead since the first votes were counted tonight. So strong, the Associated Press called the race just 20 minutes after the polls closed in western South Dakota.
And the governor is celebrating this latest win with supporters in Sioux Falls. KELOLAND's Kelly Volk is covering the race. She joins us now live from the watch party. Kelly?
Yeah, Don and Bridget, Governor Noem took the stage about 9 o'clock tonight. She was joined by her family members up there. When she addressed the crowd, she, of course, thanked her supporters, her campaign, and her officials. She also spoke of triumphs under her leadership and also talked about the challenges that lie ahead. Take a listen to part of the message she shared with the crowd tonight.
Our people are benefiting and reaping the benefits of freedom and liberty, and it is giving hope to a country that desperately needs it right now. So I want to thank all of you for your support while we do that and while we are that example to the rest of the country of what it means to live the American dream.
Now, moving forward to November 8th, the ballot will also feature Democrat Jamie Smith and Libertarian Tracy Quint in the race for governor. Reporting live in Sioux Falls, Kelly Volk, KELOLAND News.
Thanks so much, Kelly. And while big races have been called, ballots are still being tallied.
KELOLAND's Perry Groten is following the action at the Minnehaha County Administration Building. Perry?
Yeah, the counting is still going on here at the Minnehaha County Administration Building. I just spoke with Auditor Ben Kite. He figures that they're more than halfway done through the vote count. The last of the ballots came in at about 9:30. So they're in the process of getting the last half of those, all the ballots cast here for the June primary election. I don't know if I'm going to point you down to the table where the county commissioners sit. You can see all the stacks of the ballots with the pink pieces of paper on top of them. Those are the ballots that still have to be counted. So there's still a ways to go. I spoke with Auditor Kite, and he was saying that if need be, they'll stay here till about midnight, but he's hoping it's not going to take that long to count all these ballots. But they've still got some work to do yet. The scanning machines, they've got 4 scanning machines counting the ballots right now. So the process is still going on. Reporting live from downtown Sioux Falls, I'm Perry Groten, KELOLAND News.
All right. Thanks a lot, Perry.
And our Dan Santella has been with Dusty Johnson campaign all night. He joins us now live from downtown Sioux Falls once again with some reaction from Dusty Johnson.
Bridget, Dusty Johnson is the GOP nominee. How does it feel to win the contest today?
Well, winning beats the heck out of losing, and you never really know until the votes are in, so it feels good. We knew we'd worked hard. We knew we'd taken our record to the voters, but Dan, it always feels good when the bosses tell you, you know what, we think you're worth 2 more years.
So what do you say now to the people who did not vote for you, whose support you'll need 5 months from tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, listen, you can't burn bridges. I mean, you cannot have thin skin in politics. You got to be willing to say, hey, listen, buddy, you and I agree on 80% of the stuff. I understand you had to go a different way in the primary, but listen, let's go build something special together. When America is united, nothing can defeat us. When we're fighting with one another, then we're just beating ourselves. And I feel really good about the chance for us to move forward in November to get some big wins.
So now they've secured the GOP nomination. Does your day in, day out change at all in Washington and South Dakota? How does your week in, week out change?
Well, in general, I feel like good policy makes good politics, so we try to just focus on doing the day job. Clearly, in the last 2 or 3 weeks of an election, you do focus a little bit more, and so it'll be nice not doing so much of that. But listen, being a good congressman is not that different from being a good candidate. You show up in the communities, you ask questions, you listen, and then you take that information back to D.C. There are plenty of knuckleheads out in D.C., and so getting some good South Dakota wisdom out there always helps.
And then up on stage, you struck a positive tone up there.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of rhetoric around that the country is quite divided. Sure. Do you think the country might be less divided than it seems sometimes?
Well, we are pretty divided, but I get the sense that when it comes to things like inflation and the southern border, we're not that divided. People really do understand that 8 or 9% inflation is not good for the American worker, not good for the American family, and I think there's a broad consensus by economists and people on the right and the left that frankly, these trillion-dollar spending packages have made it worse by about 3% points worse than it needs to be. So we need more fiscal responsibility in Washington. I voted against the COVID packages in the Biden administration. We cannot be doing more stimulus. We cannot be throwing out these trillion-dollar spending packages, and I think even Congress has gotten the memo on that now.
Okay, when you get back to D.C., is inflation your #1 priority right now?
Inflation is big, but I would tell you 1.8 million people crossing that southern border illegally every year is also a big issue. And then the thing that we should be able to solve more quickly than either of those is our energy policy. We do not have good energy policy right now. We see gas at $4.60 today outside of Puckwana. I mean, that dog is not going to hunt for the American family. So what can we do? Well, we can make it easier for people if they want to buy E15 rather than E10. That's 15% ethanol rather than 10% ethanol. That could put another 8 billion gallons of liquid fuels in the market. We can make it easier to do exploration on federal lands and waters, and frankly, we can just do a better job of sending a message to the industry that, listen, we want you to bring more fuels to market. We need to work with, we need to tell the White House they have got to get that done.
Okay, Dusty, now, is there anything else you want people to know before you go home tonight?
Well, listen, I want to thank South Dakota. In America, we don't have a king, we don't have a queen. Ultimately, the bosses are the voters. Listen, they could have kicked me out today if they wanted to. They get another chance in November. But the fact that they're willing to tell me that I'm a pretty gosh darn good at this job and they want to give me another shot, that means more to me than they can know.
All right, thanks a lot. Dusty Johnson victorious today. Dan Centella live in downtown Sioux Falls. Let's send it back to the studio.
Thank you, Dan. Now, Senator John Thune has been declared the winner of the Republican primary for U.S. Senate. He faced 2 Republican challengers in Mark Mowry and Bruce Whalen. South Dakota's senior senator spoke with KELOLAND News minutes after the race was called this evening. Thune says he is grateful to South Dakota Republicans for tonight's win. We asked him how he's preparing for the November election.
You do the work. We'll be out across South Dakota, as we always are, and never leaving anything to chance or taking anything for granted.
For a closer look at all of the results and a closer look at some of the big races, visit the Your Election Headquarters section on KELOLAND.com.